Hey everybody, it's Beth. Welcome to Infinite Garden. This week, I wanted to talk about the Clinique's Aromatics Elixir line, or at least 3 of the perfumes in that line. I've got the original Aromatics Elixir in a recent reformulation. I also have Aromatics Elixir in white and in black. If you want to hear my thoughts about these perfumes and how they relate to one another, please stay tuned. Editing me, I forgot to say this, but the inspiration for this video came from Amy of Savor Salvage Scent. I'm going to link her video down below. She posted the most amazing video about authenticity in perfumes from the 80s. And she talked about Clinique's Aromatics Elixir, and it inspired this video. So I wanted to say, watch that video after you watch this one. Thanks so much. As usual, Chewy is right here with me, right here, sitting right beside me. You may hear her a little bit. If you hear noises, that's who that is. She doesn't like it when I film, and so we'll see how long she stays here. If you hear noises like that, that's what it is. She had a bath today, so she's already a little bit annoyed with me. So Clinique's Aromatics Elixir was released in 1971, and it really does smell like it. I was born in the 70s, and this particular perfume smells less necessarily like a person that I can remember and more like an entire era, an entire ethos. This is what the bottle looks like. It is a recent formulation. I have here the eau de parfum, and what it smells like, if you're not familiar with it, it smells like, on some level, I'm going to say a bunch of things. I need you to know first, before I say all of these things, that I like this perfume, okay? Sometimes I make associations when I'm smelling a perfume to something that doesn't smell appealing, but somehow in this context, it winds up being appealing. So what I was going to say is that I feel like this one smells a little bit like the brown Listerine. Do you remember that? This also smells like a bundle of herbs you might put into a stew pot when you're roasting a chicken. You know, it almost smells like sage, basil, thyme. It has that strong herbal scent, which is the reason why I love it. Herbal's among one of my favorite notes. I've talked a lot on my channel about violet and soapy notes, and I love rose. We'll get to that in a second. But I also really love herbal scents. It also, to me, has a very apparent kind of chamomile scent. When I wear this, it's usually when I think I might be alone. It's not the kind of perfume that I would wear to be in close quarters with people, like on a work trip, or, you know, if I were going to visit somebody in close quarters, I guess is what I could say. I love this perfume. I bought this small bottle and I think that it's matured a little bit in the bottle. It smells even richer than it did when I first got it, which is incredible because it's an absolute powerhouse. This is sagey, mossy, herbal, warm, medicinal. She's absolutely stunning. This is a perfume with backbone, with a point of view, with character. It is a somewhat witchy perfume. It smells like a woman from the 70s who might be wearing flowing paisley garments and feed you tea and oranges that come all the way from China, that type of thing. This is an incredible perfume, and I love it, and it's not for everybody, and it's not a safe blind buy. And if you think you've never smelled it, you might be surprised. If you're around my age, if you lived any part of your life in the 70s, there's a chance that if you were to smell Clinique's Aromatics Elixir, it would bring some kind of memory rushing back. And for me, what I'm remembering, it strongly evokes the sensation of being a little kid on the floor in an elementary school with a bunch of other kids on kind of rug time and latch hook wool rugs. That's what it's reminding me of. It is a beautiful, clean, herbal scent. It doesn't smell really like anything else that I'm aware of on the market, and I hope they never take it away. It's the exact opposite of Happy. If you've ever smelled Clinique's Happy, the extremely wearable, light, bright, transparent perfume, this is the polar opposite of Happy. I would recommend this for anybody who is maybe deeply read in astrology and herbal healing. I recommend it to anybody in the healing space. I recommend it to poets and authors. I recommend it to chefs and to tea shop proprietors. I recommend it for classical musicians, specifically if you play the bassoon. I recommend it if you love Todd Rundgren and Fleetwood Mac and PJ Harvey. I love it, but I don't necessarily recommend it. I think you have to go on your own journey with this and to decide if it's right for you. I bought a small bottle and that's as much as I've worn, so I don't even wear it that much, but I love it and I'm glad it's in my collection. I also really like the bottle shape. I think it is elegant. It's very thin, narrow, kind of soft, oblong, frosted with the stainless steel cap. The whole thing is very understated while still being, sophisticated and polished. It's really up my alley. I love it. The box on Aromatics Elixir says, believed to have specific effects on the mind and spirit. This blend performs the role of perfume but goes far beyond. Don't you love that? I love that, and I think it's true. Aromatics Elixir is kind of in a different legendary category. It is meant to be on some level aromatherapy. I don't think it's going to go viral in our current day, but she's eternal, I think. I hope they always have Aromatics Elixir available on their website. Next chronologically is Clinique's Aromatics in White. This bottle looks a lot like the original, only we have an opaque white bottle and a white cap. You can see the difference. This is a 3.3 ounce, 100 ml. This is a amber rose musk. It's very beautiful. I think it's creamy, but not totally lactonic, if that makes sense. It very much smells of rose petals versus like the whole rose bush with the leaves and the wood stems. And it smells very clean. I wear this one quite a lot. Of the three of these, this one is my favorite, I will say. I love rose perfumes, and this one is clean and soft. I definitely love it after a shower and before bed. It feels clean enough for that. I really love a soapy rose for day, and this is a great one for that. I also feel like it gives you just a little bit more with that creamy base. This one is not terribly complicated. It lasts on me several hours. I realize now I didn't even say it. The Aromatics Elixir lasts for hours. It'll last till tomorrow. This stuff I just sprayed on my hand, I'll wash my hand and I'll still be able to smell it. It's a powerhouse. Aromatics in White is a good performer. It lasts for hours. If I spray it on in the morning and I go to work, I'll still be smelling it by lunchtime a little bit after. It doesn't project far. I don't think anyone else can really smell it. Sometimes I can just catch the lightest little whiff of it. It smells not quite bridal, but like it's what you might imagine the women in the Merchant Ivory movies from back in the day, like A Room with a View. This smells like the way I think they would smell in that movie. And this is a soft, feminine perfume without being boring. It's the amber that keeps it from being boring. There's nothing here that is harsh. It's not necessarily terribly fresh, but it is rosy and creamy and somewhat warm. Very, very nice. I do not advocate blind buying, but I do think this one, if those types of notes appeal to you, I do think this one is in the somewhat safe category. On the Aromatics in White box, it says, there's a surprising dimension in white with its confident interplay of serene woods, transparent petals, and warm amber notes. Aromatics in White makes sensuality modern and leaves a long trail of intrigue. I do think that's interesting. I saw someone on Fragrantica say that they thought that this was actually a dark perfume, while they thought that the Aromatics in Black was a lighter perfume, which is interesting. I'm not totally sure I agree. I'm picking up the creamy muskiness here that I think comes from both musk and woods, but it really does make it, although I like to wear it to bed, so maybe it is a nighttime perfume. I think of it as being clean sheets and clean towels and soap and that type of thing. And I guess that's why I think about it as a daytime thing. It's so interesting though, it's complex. Aromatics in Black is the third perfume in this line that I have. And this bottle is very beautiful. It may appear black on the screen, but in person and under these bright lights, it's really a very deep kind of plummy plum black. Blackened plum. This is a fruity jasmine incense perfume. It starts at the top with plum and citrus, and it's not totally jammy. It smells like fresh fruit versus like pie filling, like not jelly, but an actual plum in your hand. Even Fragrantica lists plum tree, not just plum. And I think that's right. There is sort of the structure of the plum tree present here. And then the thick white jasmine comes in and makes this quite a round, sensual perfume. It also has osmanthus and neroli. Osmanthus can smell like peach. Neroli has a super sharp citrus note. I'm gonna spray it on this hand. It remains fruity. It's so good. But after those top notes dry down, what I really get out of it is an ambery, even though amber is not listed, there's myrrh and tonka beans, so those types of like warm resins, those really become apparent, and the warm resins mix with the jasmine, and you get something that I think rivals Alien. And if you've ever smelled Alien, I've only ever smelled the reformulated version. I'm really sad to say. I understand it's a pale copy of the original, so that's just what I'm working with here. I do have a bottle of the reformulated Alien, and I find that it's the closest dupe to Aromatics in black. I do think that Aromatics in black is a little more wearable. Alien, at least the reformulated version that I have, sometimes produce that kind of headachy perfume experience where it feels a little synthetic and maybe just ever so perfumey obnoxious, like when someone who doesn't like perfume, if they were sitting next to you, they might not like it if you were wearing Alien. I feel like Aromatics in black doesn't quite do that. There's something about it that still stays in that kind of soapy, clean space. I think Aromatics in black is very wearable for day. I've definitely worn Aromatics in black to the office. I don't think it's strictly an evening perfume, but I do think it is darker. Like when you smell it, I do actually feel like it has that depth. It's because of the myrrh and the tonka that it has that sort of bottom heavy resinous warmth that makes it almost not totally churchy, but a little bit churchy. And for me, that's what keeps it, a little bit dark, and I think it's appropriate. But I understand why someone might say that this is the lighter of the two because it has those bright citrus notes with the top notes, the bergamot, and then the neroli in the middle notes. You get that bright white floral piece with citrus. That's kind of a bright white perfume, but I just can't get past the resinous bottom. To me, the myrrh and tonka notes are the defining characteristics of Aromatics in black, with an overall kind of roundness of white floral and sort of joy and kind of pleasure of the senses that you get from the fruit notes too. Here's what the box says. The box says, "There's an infinite mystery in black. A bold undercurrent of precious myrrh carries succulent fruit and exotic floral notes to seductive new depths." So yes, this box even says the precious myrrh carries the fruit and carries the floral notes into new depths. And I think that's exactly right. It does feel dominant. So if you love myrrh, if you love incensey perfumes and like white florals, you might like Aromatics in black. I think it's beautiful. So tell me, have you tried Clinique's Aromatics Elixir, the original, or any of these flankers, the white or the black? There was also another one called Black Cherry, I think, but I've never seen it or smelled it. I understand it's discontinued, and there's a lot of people who are like after trying to find a bottle of it. If you've ever tried that one, let me know how that one compares. The note seems super interesting. Anyway, I hope that you found this interesting. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like because it helps my channel so much. And if you want to hang out again and with me or with Chewy, click the subscribe button. I post videos on Sundays. I'd love to have you back. We have a super chill, very supportive community. Anyway, I hope that you're all doing well out there, and I hope that you have a great week ahead. Thank you so much for watching. Talk soon.